Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Arrow Episode 7 Vigilante video. Just careful for spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. There was the twist of all twists at the end. Just to start things off, I will say that the Vigilante character is not the Prometheus character. It's not the same person underneath the mask, for those that are wondering. Because some of you might know who Vigilante is from the comics. We saw him in this episode, but just for the people that don't read comics, I don't want to spoil that up front. But if you're not sure, rewatch the last couple of episodes. I thought they've done a good job teasing a certain character reveal for Vigilante without beating you in the face with it. So let's just do top 10 WTF. It was a big twist at the end, which is actually really cool. So a whole bunch of stuff going on, and we know about the Arrow 100th episode, so I'll talk about that at the end of the video too, because there's a whole bunch of stuff happening around that in 2 weeks. So number 10, meet Vigilante, the newest Vigilante dropping bodies in Star City. And there was an impressive body count in this episode, but you have to remember that he's gunning people down, so there's going to be a ton of bodies. But there have actually been about 6 different versions of the character in the comics. They actually flashed a picture of original art by George Perez for his version of the Vigilante character, who, if you know who that is in the comics, then you know who he is on the TV show. They're sticking pretty close to his origin, and they kind of tease that in this episode. So number 9, you haven't been pushed over the edge. Like Vigilante tells Oliver, you may have lost people, but you haven't reached the point that I've reached. Vigilante's family was gunned down Punisher style, so he has a Punisher type origin story where he goes from being this upstanding member of the community to being a vigilante that just guns down criminals indiscriminately. Which kind of dovetails with, number 8, the dark versus light path. So Oliver has this big existential crisis in the episode where he's like, maybe nothing we've been doing is working. I don't understand. Like, should we just start dropping bodies again? What's the deal? But what would normally be a Felicity scene where she's like, hey, do things the right way, is actually the Susan Williams character that tells him to chill out just a little bit and just stay the course. Like, you're doing it the right way, just do not turn to the dark side, Anakin Skywalker. So number 7, also happening in the flashbacks too, almost the exact same story, Kovar gives him the same version of that speech where he's like, good, evil, it's all relative. The Bratva made a deal with me to get a portion of my profits. That's the only reason they let you in the organization. So flashback Oliver just had his whole world flipped upside down. So now it seems like he's never going to get revenge. But obviously they just want things to seem really terrible so that he has to climb out of another hole or climb off of another island, so to speak. But the real big twist, number 6, is that Tayana's mother, the person who he's trying to kill Kovar for, is working for Kovar. What a sweet woman. You probably know her daughter, Tayana. And flashback Oliver just craps his pants oh my god. So the whole point of the flashbacks, all these scenes, is just to make Kovar seem invincible and untouchable, this insurmountable goal. So it's just going to be that much more satisfying when Oliver takes him down, if he's able to take him down by the end of the season. So I know it's a long ways off. I'm not expecting it, but it would be pretty badass if Prometheus turned out to be Kovar or someone connected to Kovar. You do get the sense that he has a larger role to play because he's such a big figure in the flashbacks, so it would seem weird if flashback Oliver is able to defeat him and then we never hear from him or his organization again. Usually the flashbacks sync up with modern day a little bit, so just expect that Kovar plot to get teased out the same way they tease out Prometheus and now the Vigilante character. Speaking of Prometheus, number 5, Quentin comes clean to Thea. He knows he's been blacking out, but he has no idea what's going on and is convinced someone's trying to pin the Prometheus murders on him. I think that whole speech was just to throw water on the idea that Quentin is being mind controlled when he's blacked out, like he's not a secret ninja without knowing about it. So there's some other character who's Prometheus. They are just messing with Quentin because, as Oliver finds out, number 4, Prometheus knows who he is, meaning that he knows about Team Arrow, knowing that Quentin is connected to it all. So number 3, Team Arrow versus Vigilante, round 1. There was that awesome trick shot where he bullseyed Artemis's arrow. He's able to get away pretty easily till round 2, where he actually gets the drop on Team Arrow as they're trying to lay a trap for him. So like the whole point here, like the fact that he gets away without Oliver being able to unmask him, just lets you know that it's going to be a much bigger plot line. Like they're not just going to unmask him right away and that'll be the end of it. And if you know who he is on the show, then you can start to guess that maybe he'll find out Oliver's secret before Oliver learns his secret, and it'll lead to some really fun times. So I'll just go ahead and say it's okay to talk about who he really is on the TV show if you've read the comics or if you know that twist, but just use a spoiler tag in the comments when you're talking about it. But what I'm expecting is that his storyline will kind of collide with Prometheus's storyline relatively quickly, like before the mid-season finale, where we'll probably get a big reveal about Vigilante's character and Prometheus's character at the same time. But they are two different people. So number one WTF though, this is really fun. I really like this twist. Artemis is working with Prometheus. So it's a very sports mastery twist. For those of you that didn't watch Young Justice, Artemis on that show had a different origin story from Artemis on Arrow. So Young Justice Artemis is actually the daughter of two villains. One of them is Sportsmaster. So her whole arc on that TV show was about not following in her parents' footsteps. Like, even though you come from evil, that doesn't mean that you have to be evil. So on Arrow, you can guess that that might have something to do with Artemis as well, but you can see that she's so upset about Oliver not being able to help her parents that that's probably what drove her to start working with Prometheus. So I don't think that Prometheus is her father. I think that it's just someone who has beef against Team Arrow and Oliver specifically. So the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Thus, Artemis and Prometheus are friends temporarily. But let me know what you guys thought of the episode. I thought it moved pretty well. So a little bit about that though, the Arrow 100th episode. This is separately from Laurel coming back in the second half of the season. Don't really know how that's going to happen, but they did explain a lot about the 100th episode, most of which will take place in a dream sequence where Oliver didn't get on the Queen's Gambit. So like he has a completely different life. They kind of imply that there is no Green Arrow, so you'll just have fun seeing what Star City is like, what those characters are like, had they gone down a different path. So like Laurel is still alive. It looks like she and Oliver are getting ready to get married. Then Oliver starts to notice little things are off. So he comes to the realization that he's in an artificial reality. That has something to do with the Dominators because, of course, it happens during the third night of the 4-night crossover. So we don't know how long we're going to spend in that dream sequence during the Arrow episode, but I'm guessing at least like half of the episode is going to be this Arrow what if. They actually did the same thing on Batman the Animated Series, where Batman enters hypnosis and he experiences this reality where his parents were not gunned down in Crime Alley, so everything's weird, he's not the Batman, until he slowly starts to realize that what he's experiencing is not real. So that's probably the way it's going to go down with Oliver, but that episode isn't dropping for another 2 weeks, so next week Arrow is on break, but I think the other shows are still happening. I know The Flash for sure has a new episode next week. So I think Arrow's the only one that's on break, so I'll just post updates on the schedule as I post new DC videos. But there is new Legends tomorrow night. Jonah Hex is coming back, and there's a big change in the Legends schedule in the second half of the season. So what they're doing is when everything comes back in the spring, Legends is going to air after The Flash at 9 p.m. on Tuesday nights. So it's going to be Supergirl on Mondays, then The Flash and Legends, one right after the other, and then Arrow on Wednesdays. So there will be no DC TV shows on Thursdays anymore. It'll be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which makes Tuesday really interesting because I try to do videos for S.H.I.E.L.D. every once in a while. So we'll figure the schedule out. It's not going to happen for a while. But just a reminder, new round of the DC giveaway going on. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. It's just a $20 Amazon gift card. So I'll announce the winner when I post my Legends video tomorrow. While you guys wait for that to post, you can click here for the trailer for the 4-night crossover, and you can click here for the Flash Killer Frost trailer for next week's Flash episode. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.